That's when United become an elite team. And yes, they getting praised because they had a good performance in this game. But as a United fan, I would, if I was a United fan, I would prefer points over praise. And yes, they might going forward they might be good to play, good to watch. But out of position, they are one of the worst teams in the league. One of the worst teams, absolutely dreadful. So, and also Bruno Fernandes got injured as well, and according to Ruben Amorim, he could miss some games. So that's going to be a bad. It could affect United massively. You know, Bruno Fernandes has been their best player for United for what, for years now. And yeah, like, you know, not only they could miss it for a couple of games where they've got tricky games coming up. United, like Newcastle at home next coming. They have players playing in the Africa Cup of Nations. Mazarawi, Diallo, Mabuemo. So it's going to be tricky. Could be a tricky couple of weeks for United. So, African Cup of Nations 2025 in Morocco. Africa Cup of Nations is a tournament that, in my opinion, gets disrespected unfairly. It's a competition like, you know, you see teams like Morocco, Egypt, Cote d'Ivoire, those teams, it means a lot to them. It means a lot to them. It means, you know, they want to win the competition so badly. And, you know, Egypt and those teams in Egypt, South Africa, Morocco, Nigeria, they don't have a great chance of winning the World Cup. They might have a good run to the World Cup like Morocco in 2022, but let's be honest, it's their only chance, only competition of winning the World Cup. If we're being perfectly honest. So, because, you know, the level of African teams compared to the South American teams, to the European teams is different. It's different, with all due respect to the African teams. So I don't like when this competition gets respected massively, especially from people like Carragher and all these people, because it's a competition that everybody who plays for those countries in Africa want to win. It means a lot to them, and it's similar to Asia, where they don't have a great chance of winning the World Cup, but those teams like South Korea and Australia would give everything, would die to win the Asian Cup. And this is a similar thing to the African Cup of Nations. So yes, African Cup of Nations can disrupt teams in mid of the season, like you know, players like, I remember you know, seasons ago where Liverpool had to leave Mane out of when Mane went to the AFCON, I think it was 2017, and before Mane went to AFCON, Liverpool were in a very good run of form. And when he went to AFCON in 2017, Liverpool went in poor run of form. So of course you want your best players to play in the critical stages of the season, and you don't want your players to go to AFCON and get affected. Like we see sometimes Salah get affected by after he leaves AFCON 2022, 2024 is a perfect example of that. So yeah, but at the same time, you know, I think that, you know, people in Africa, in Asia, in South America, they respect the Euros. So for the Europeans, they should also respect the African Cup of Nations. They should also respect the Asian Cup, because the Euros means as much to those nations in Europe as much as to the nations in Africa, in African Cup of Nations. So yeah, and I say this because, you know, I heard people disrespect African Cup of Nations and I don't like it. I don't know. Maybe it's I'm copying so Campbell here. Maybe it's a colour thing. I don't know, but you know, I think there should be, you know, good respect, and there should be equal treatment compared to the Euros to African Cup of Nations, because, you know, a lot of broadcasters and channels, TV channels, they broadcast the Euros. Why don't you do the same thing for African Cup of Nations? I know that the level is different, but still, you've got great players who've played in Africa and are playing in Africa. Players who played in Africa in the past, like Drogba, Yaya Toure, Abu Treka. So many great players. And now you've got players like Salah, Hakimi, who had a great season for PSG. So, yeah. But let's start with the first game, Morocco against Comoros. Morocco won 2-0 against Comoros. I don't think it was a great performance from Morocco, in my opinion. if they want to win the competition, they have to play better than they did in this game. But it's the first game, it's the first match. There's always going to be nerves, especially playing as the host. There could be always nerves, but it's about getting the job done. And group stages is about that. It's about getting the points, the performances, and then you can prove on other aspects. Also not just winning, also other aspects of your game in the knockout stages if you want to go very far. So, I've seen people say that, oh, Morocco, they're terrible, they're not going to win the AFCON by playing like this. But how many teams we've seen in the past where they, in the games in the group stages, they don't play that well in the tournament, and then they reach their peak in the knockout stages. I think Morocco did a similar thing. They're saving their peak towards the knockout stage, and for sure they are the favorite to win this competition. They're the hosts. They've done well in the World Cup 2022. Yes, it's different players compared to back then, but still, they've got a very good team. They've got players like Amrabat, they've got players like Mazraoui, they've got players like Hakimi, Bono, the goalkeeper, Youssef N'Dessiri. They've got quality players. So Munir as well, who I think used to play for Barcelona. So they've got very good players. Egor, the centre back, a very good defender. So yeah, but for Morocco, it wasn't a good performance, like I said. Safwan Rahimi missed the penalty early on in the 11th minute. And the second half, Morocco slightly improved, even though I would say it was an amazing performance from Morocco. Brahim Diaz scoring the first goal, good finish from him. And then the second goal, Al-Kabi, what a goal. That bicycle kick was amazing, absolutely amazing, absolutely superb, amazing goal from Al-Kabi. Brilliant finish. It could be the goal of the tournament, and it's already the first game of the African Cup of Nations. So yeah, what a goal, what an amazing goal. Bicycle kick, out of this world, fantastic. So yeah, but Morocco, they get the job done in this game. They win 2-0. They win their first game, and it's also to win your first game in the knockout, in the group stages, to take a step forward to qualify for the knockout stages. They've got the other teams in the group like Mali and Zambia, which Morocco should do well against them. I think Morocco should win the group in general. They're the hosts as well, so yeah. However, there is a problem. As an Egyptian fan, is that I thought Egypt could play against Morocco in the last 16, because Egypt is in the group B, and if Egypt finished second, Morocco would finish first. They face each other, but it seems like the format of way of organizing fixtures in Africa Cup of Nations is quite different, which makes it more exciting. Morocco could face the teams who are in Group C, D, E, who finished third, if they win the group. And you look at teams like Congo, Benin, Botswana. You look at teams like Uganda, maybe Tunisia, Nigeria as well, because they are two in the same group. Group C is a good group. You got Group E as well. Algeria should win, but you got teams like Burkina Faso, who are a good team. So it's going to be interesting African Cup of Nations. Who do I think should challenge Morocco for winning the African Cup of Nations? You've got teams like Nigeria, even though they didn't qualify for the World Cup. You've got teams like Tunisia, Senegal, Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire, who are the reigning champion, Cameroon. So Egypt maybe as well, because we've got heritage in winning the competition a lot. But to be honest, I don't think we're good enough to win it, because going forward we're not bad. We've got quality players, but defensively we're not that good. We're not organised enough, in my opinion, to be good enough to winning the competition. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope Egypt prove me wrong, but that's my opinion, and that's my realistic opinion. So yeah, and Egypt gonna play against Zimbabwe today. So hopefully to be a very good night for all the Egyptians around the world. That's it, guys. Thank you. I wish you have a nice day. See you next time, and goodbye.